Hi everyone, welcome back to a free Python certification program. In this video, we are going to talk about roadmap and we will take one topic and we will try to understand that topic in detail. So let's get started. In our previous video, we have already gone through the installation path. If you have not watched that, please do watch it and install Python and Jupyter Notebook before continuing with this video. So let's get started. All right, so these are the things which we are going to cover. We'll be covering some basic concepts such as variables, data types, and operators. And in control flow, we'll be covering keywords, comments, conditional statements, indentation. Why do we need indentation? Because if you see in Python, we don't use this curly braces, right? So indentation is really important. And we will also go through what are the different loops and what is it used for. We'll take some examples to understand them. Then we'll go through functions. We'll go through data structures such as list, tuple, set, and dictionary. And we will also go through some module and packages. After that, we'll be going through file handling. And at the end of the course, we are going to go through one project to understand how we will be able to implement all these concepts in one. All right. So today we'll be dealing with respect to variables. We'll see what are variables, how do we declare them, all the different rules which are required, all those things we are going to discuss in this particular video. All right. So let's get started. Variables. See, what are variables? Variables are nothing but these are containers which are used to store the data. Now, when I'm writing a program or something, let's consider I'm writing some age. Okay, so I'm storing some age. I need to store this age somewhere, right? So let's consider 21. Okay, so what is this age? Age is a variable which is acting as a container. Within this container, I'm going to store the data 21. And later we can manipulate and refer this data with the help of code. Okay, so just remember this simple definition. What is a variable? Variable is a container which is used to store some data. That's it, or store some values. These are nothing but variables. Take anything. Maybe if I'm saying, let's consider A is equals to 5, B is equals to 2. Sum is equals to A plus B. See, A is a variable where I'm storing 5. B is a variable where I'm storing 2. And I'm adding A and B and I'm storing it in the sum. So these are all the variables. Okay. So just remember it's a container which is used to store some values. Okay. Definition is clear. Next, what are the rules which we need to follow? See, in Python, variables are case sensitive. That means capital A and small a are different. Okay, so if I say capital A, if I say small a, these are different. Okay, and variables should include bit from A to Z, small or capital, or numbers, or underscore. It cannot start with special characters. Whenever I'm declaring, I cannot say dollar sign and I can say maybe some. Okay, this is not permitted. It has to start with these, either these or underscore. Okay, and names must start with a letter or underscore. See, always names should start with a letter or underscore. Numbers are not preferred. Again, as I've mentioned, it's case sensitive. My variable and my variable are different because of this particular V. In first one, it is capital, and in second one, it is small, right? So that means it is case sensitive. This is different, and this is different. Okay, and we should avoid using keywords because Python keywords have some special reserved meaning. Okay, we cannot just use, for example, we have if, else, these kind of keywords we cannot use in variable names because Python has special understanding for this, right? So it's better to avoid this. Okay, and then how do we assign a variable? Simple, we have to make use of single equals to. Okay, don't get confused. We will be also having double equals to. A double equals to 10. Okay, this is different. A is equals to 10. This is different. This is assignment operator where I'm storing the value of 10 in A, and this is comparison operator where I'm comparing what is the value of A. Is it equal to 10? Okay, we'll deal about this in detail later. Okay, but for now, remember how we are going to store the variable. or how we are going to assign it with the help of equals to. Okay. And then next, variables allow dynamic typing. What do I mean by that is, let's consider a is equals to 10. Okay. And now what is the type of this data type of this particular a? It is integer. Okay, then I'm going to say b is equal, sorry, let's take a only, right? A is equals to hi. Now what is the type? String. So we can change the type once we have defined. Okay, dynamic typing is present. Okay, now before we move further, let's quickly see the examples for this in scripting, and then we will go with the next things. Okay, so in the previous video, we have already seen how we are going to install Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so make sure you are having a new folder. In this particular folder, once the Jupyter Notebook has been installed, go here, press Control L. Okay, and just type in Jupyter Notebook. Okay, you can see here. Let me take you. Okay, Jupyter Notebook. Just type in Jupyter Notebook and it should open a Jupyter interface for you. It will take a bit of time. Let it open. Okay, and make sure to not close this. Okay, you can see this particular console is open, right? Do not close this console. Okay. All right. So let's minimize this and our Jupyter is ready. Okay. Now click on this new notebook. All right. So what are we going to study today? We are going to talk about variables. Okay. Come here. Just change the name to variables. Okay. Rename it. So this file name is now variables. All right. Now, before we move into this, let me just talk about Jupyter Notebook for a while. See, this is our interface where we are going to type our Python code. Okay. Now, there is only one box available here. If we want to have more lines where we can write the code, you can just press on this plus button. Okay. I have multiple lines of codes now. All right. Now, next, what I'm going to do is let's define a variable. Okay. So let's take a name. Name is a variable. I'm going to store something in this. So let me say I'm going to store it. Okay. Now I'm going to run this particular variable, run all cells. Okay, it has executed. But it's now what I can do is I can make use of this variable with the help of print function. I can see what are the things present in name. See, when I'm saying print name, it is giving me what is the name we have entered. Or we can do one more thing. I can just say name and press Control Enter to run the program. Directly it is giving me Nasir. Okay, so one feature this Jupyter Notebook has is whatever the last line it is. Okay, so if I say here, you can see whatever the last line it is going to print. Okay, it is going to print it in the string. And here, if you see, it's printing both. It's printing Nasir and Nasir. The first one is from this print function, and the second one is whatever the last line we have, always it will print it. Okay. All right. Now coming back to the variable, see what are the things we have studied. Let's quickly have a look. What are variables? These are containers used to store some value. Okay. So name is acting as a, here if you see, name is acting as a container. In this container, I'm going to store, that's it. Later, maybe I can manipulate these things with the help of code, all those things we can do. But for now, we are storing this data in a container. What is the name of this container? The name of this container itself is name. Okay. So next, what else we have seen? Let's check quickly. Okay, it should start with these letters. Okay, let's try to do one thing where we will try to give with some different letter. Okay, I'll say at name is equals to, in strings, I'm going to give Nasir. Let's run this. What it is saying? Invalid syntax. Maybe you meant C. So because we have used this at, it is invalid syntax. We cannot start with this. Okay. What if I say underscore then? Instead of at, I'm going to say underscore. and execute it. Now any error? No. Can I print and check this? Just say underscore name and control enter. It's executing. All right. So we can go with underscores. Okay. And we can start with A to Z or 0 to 9 and underscore. Okay. Case sensitive. Let's talk about this now. Let's take A is equals to 15. So I'm storing 15 in my A. This is capital A, right? And I'm going to say A is equals to 12. Okay. So now if I say print print capital A, okay. So I've given P as capital, it should not be capital. Print. If I say capital A, what will be my output? 15 or 12? 15. And if I say same thing with my small or small letter A, it will be 12. That means in Python, A and A are different. This is capital and this is lowercase, right? So Python has different understanding for this. So you cannot just take maybe somewhere you're declaring name and later you're calling name. Okay, this is wrong. We cannot do like this. All right. Then next, what else is there? Let's quickly check. Uh, all right. Okay, avoid sentence because these are keywords. If you see, whenever I say if, you can see the color, right? It's green. So all the keywords by default, it has certain meaning. I'll say else, you can see. And all these are keywords which has certain specific meaning. So we have to avoid using this. Okay, what are keywords, why it is used, that we will study in our next classes. Okay, but for now, remember, try to avoid using keywords as your variable name. Okay, then next, what else we have seen? Assigning. Okay, how do we assign? With the help of equal to symbol, equal to operator. Then what else? Dynamic typing. Okay, so first, let's say maybe a is equals to 10. Now I'll check the type of my A. What is the type? It is integer. Now let's do one thing where I'll say A is equals to hello. Okay. Now I'm going to again check the type of this A. It's a string. So dynamic typing is allowed for us. So first it is integer automatically. It will see whatever the variable it is, and according to that, it will assign the data type. It is a string, so it is assigning it as a string. Okay. So dynamic typing is allowed. All right, so far, what are the things we have covered? We have seen what are variables, how do we define them, what are the rules we must follow, and how do we assign it, and we have seen about dynamic typing. Okay, now let's continue with our next thing. Right, so in variables, we have multiple assignments. What do I mean by multiple assignments? A, B, and C is equals to 10, 20, and 30. Within one line, I can assign 10 to A, 20 to B, and 30 to C. Okay, this is allowed in our Python. And constant. So whenever I'm talking about pi, it is always preferred to give some constants. These are not stored in Python by default. Okay, we need to save it. Pi is equals to whatever the value 3.17 something we have, right? Pi value that we have to store. But remember, it's good practice for keeping it capital. Okay, and we will also be seeing what are variables, local variable and global variable. See, when a variable is defined outside of a function, it is global variable. Okay, what is this exactly, where it is used, we will understand this in function. But for now, remember, when a variable is defined outside of a function, it is global variable. And when a variable is defined inside of a function, it is local variable. All right. So these are the things which we need to understand in variables. Okay. Come on. Now let's quickly revise what are the things. The variables are containers which does not need any commands. If we study Java and Python, there we had to give int of x. But here we need not to give. Okay. We can just assign x is equals to 10. So no commands are required. We can change the type, right? From integer, we can change it to string. And we can declare multiple variables. Okay, so remember, variables are the containers which are used to store some values. Okay, and it is best suited to have a proper variable name. Let's not go with a is equals to 10, something like that. There should be a proper name. Whatever the variable is declared, it should have certain meaning. Okay, so what is this exactly? We'll understand in future classes. Right. So just for the overview, let's consider I'm talking about age. So we have to declare age is equals to age itself. We cannot just say A, B. These are not correct standards. Age 21, salary 60K. Okay, so like this, we need to define the variable with a meaningful name or suitable name. Right? And what are the rules we need to follow? It should start with letter or underscore. It cannot start with a special character, and it can only contain alphanumeric. We cannot just go with at symbol. Right? Those things are not permitted in starting. It cannot start with even a number. And we have to make sure that the case is correct. Whenever we are declaring, if I say age, I'm declaring and I'm calling this age, it will not give us the results. It is case sensitive. All right. So make sure you're going through all these concepts once more. And if you guys have any doubts, please feel free to reach out to us. In the next video, we'll be talking about data types. Okay. After data types, we'll be talking about the operators. Until then, take care. Bye bye.